What's up, brownies? So this video is going to be about Hurricane Chris coming at 50 Cent over a festival that he put on in Louisiana last week. I'm going to talk about what he got wrong, what he got right, and what he's really mad about, but I'm also going to provide the receipts. So let's get right into the video.
Pop, you throw a concert in Louisiana and don't book no Louisiana legends and put no bankroll in no Louisiana legends pocket, but you pay the police $500,000. What type is that? Taking advantage of my city, cheap, and shit costs way less than it costs where you from. And y'all stupid, slow, so crazy that y'all gonna let it come down here and not show no love to Louisiana. They ain't book no Louisiana art. They ain't book Big Papa, Be Will, ain't book Hurricane. You can go to Baton Rouge and get no boosies or no webbies. Like, came to take advantage of us. Shreveport had cheap ass land. He came and bought that with us, and he just showed you that by paying the police $500,000 when we got young starving. We don't need more money invested into the police. We need more money invested into the community. Who know the community, who know the people, who willing to put their feet on the ground to make a difference with their influence. Fuck your money. Don't care nothing about it. You think these white people ain't been here no money in Louisiana? They're using you to come through this and to pay the city up. They finna use you to rebuild the roads. They not finna use you to help the youth.
Sorry for the edit, but it got flagged on the first upload for the language, so I had to come take it out. You can go listen to the whole thing on Hurricane Chris's page. And 50 Cent has done what he always does by making fun of somebody for being a loser, and he's already responded to Hurricane Chris, trying to invalidate Chris's career. Here's the thing, two things can be true. Now, spectators can always criticize the doers because you're just sitting around looking at somebody else getting something accomplished. So maybe Hurricane Chris should do some things himself. However, it's fair to say that he doesn't have nearly the money or the influence that 50 Cent does. All right, so let's talk about what Chris got right, what he got wrong, and what he's really mad about. People at large really don't think about Shreveport. That changed when Hurricane Chris came out. Chris repped Shreveport hard. Every interview, every live show, whatever. He really did put, Shreveport on the map. But you know what else Chris put on the map? DJ Hollywood Baby. So Hurricane Chris's first song, Hey Baby, Hey Baby. It was about DJ Baby. And so I'm not saying that Bebe wasn't popping or he didn't have a career before Hurricane Chris, but Chris did launch that man into a whole new stratosphere. So another thing that Chris said in the live was that 50 didn't have no Louisiana artists on there. Then he said you ain't had no local artists on there. So he was correct about the local artist thing. But to be fair, even when Hurricane Chris was trying to name local artists, he only came up with 3, and he was one of them. So beside himself, he could only come up with 2 people. However, he got it wrong when he said it wasn't no Louisiana people on there, because they did have some artists from No Limit on there, one of which being Master P. Now, look at this footage closely. Who do you see on the stage with Master P? Bebe. I think that the real beef that Hurricane Chris had was not so much with 50, but with Bebe. How and why did Hurricane Chris and Bebe fall out? Listen to these receipts.
So was A Baby already out before you signed?
Yeah, A Baby was out like a year before I signed.
You made that for Bebe?
Yeah, I was in a club when I first heard people saying it, and he was DJing. But when I heard that, I was like, I can make this worldwide. Yeah, they was chanting it in the club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, where was Bebe at? Because he from Texas. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Nah, when I made the A Baby song, that allowed him to go get that Texas situation.
So what's our relationship like now?
I ain't got no relationship with him. When I got out and burned it out, I hit him up and told him I needed him to help me make some moves. He told me he wasn't rocking with music. I told him I told him exactly how I felt. Like, I'm fighting a second-degree attempted murder charge, and I'm telling you I need you to make something happen for me, and you giving me excuses. So it wasn't nothing else for me to say to him after that. If I put you in a position and then you see me take a fall, you're supposed to do everything in your power to pull me back up. And he just never did that. Even when I got into it with my record label that I was signed with, I called him and told him, hey, I need you to reach out and let them know this, what they doing ain't right. You know what he told me? I ain't getting in it because I want to still be able to go back to the label and still be able to do business with them. But you the one who introduced me to these people. You the one who told me, hey, sign this deal. Just sign it. I'm telling you, I got your best interest. Sign this. But when it went bad and I told him I need you to jump in here with me and help, he ain't do that. He told me he ain't getting involved with it. That's a snake to me.
All right, so just giving proper credit, that is a clip from a Baller Alert interview with Hurricane Chris a few months ago. Please go directly to their channel to check out the full interview. Now let me fill in the gaps. A few years ago, I think in 2020, Chris was facing second-degree murder charges after a shooting. He was later found not guilty or acquitted or whatever. Now, you heard Chris say that he was in a bad record deal that Bebe set up for him. I'm pretty sure that when you bring a sucker to the table, you get a kickback or you're getting paid on the back end from that, which means that whereas whether it was a 360 deal or whatever, Chris was in a deal that was really stopping the full bag that he could have been getting because of Bebe. And at the same time, Bebe not only made money off of that, but Bebe's career gets to blow up or go to a different level forever because of that Hurricane Chris song. You got to think that in 360 deals or bad deals in general, a lot of times because you're not making money off album sales, the only way that these rappers are really making money is from live performances. So the earth is already shut down for some years during the pandemic. And then after that, if you're still on probation or whatever the case may be, you can't travel and perform a lot of times. So Chris's pockets was probably hurting for a few years. If you reach out to the man that's made so much money off of you and he says that he don't want to get involved to help you get back on your feet because he don't want to burn no bridge, I'm sure that'll leave a salty taste in your mouth that's still in there to this very day, which is why you lashing out at 50 Cent, when you need to be lashing out at Bebe if that's who you're mad at. I don't know. You all tell me if you agree with my little theory in the comments. But also, I don't think that Chris was totally wrong about what he was saying about 50 either, as far as who actually makes money when these types of festivals come into town. I want you to listen very carefully to this full clip that I'm getting ready to play, and then we're going to come back and discuss it.
City officials say they don't have the numbers to prove it just yet, but Humor and Harmony Weekend made a big economic impact on Shreveport.
This is not just about a party. It's about the economy. 50's, his platform is conscious capitalism. That means deliberately knowing how to use his machine to help the economy.
For the first time in nearly 2 decades, the entertainment district in downtown Shreveport saw thousands of people all in the same space at once and on multiple days.
Certainly some of the people in the entertainment district, some of our longtime tenants, Cassandra's not too long time, but they benefited. I think that Fatty Arbuckle's benefited from it. I'd like to think that other businesses around there, some of the nightclubs and some of the other places would have stood to have benefited. But
Shreveport Mayor Tom Arsenault says the numbers will reflect in the hotel motel tax and the overall sales tax.
The downtown hotels in Shreveport were full. They were full all weekend long. They had a lot of ancillary activities. I'm sure that they did exceptionally well, and I'm really pleased for that, including the Hilton, Samstown, and Bally's.
The success of Humor and Harmony Weekend and the outcome is a result of what can be called the 50 effect.
We understood that this region has been disappointed so much by so many other people. Big concerts that the artists never came. Big ideas, stadiums, and other things that never came. So it was very important to 50. That's why we did this in 90 days to stay with the momentum.
In Shreveport, Tamer Knight, KSLA News 12.
You're in the vicinity of good people. You don't mind doing things.
Right. Yeah.
Who has a fit park, a giant fit park?
No one.
Yeah,
but
we saw it from the interstate.
And now this connection to Shreveport. Now they must have all the trust in you after a weekend like this.
But this is why it had to happen fast.
Yeah. 90 days,
They say
right?
you're gonna do it like boom, 90 days after. There's no it. Do it again. You won't get this comedy show. You won't get this type of lineup, and then do it in 90 days. Try to do the stadium.
Yeah,
sure.
This time, and look, this event tonight was already sold out from tickets from the stadium.
Oh.
This is why it's the second show to this tonight.
Got you.
Because it was already sold out. So when we moved here, it's like moving from a monster venue to a smaller venue. But we would have been in 112-degree heat.
Impossible.
If we did it that day, so it was the right move.
So shout out to Monique for performing in No Limit Panties for no reason at all. If you missed that, rewind it back about 2 minutes and you'll see her performing behind 50 Cent's head. Now, ultimately, let's call a thing a thing. Hurricane Chris was more wrong than right in what he said. But I do want you to kind of consider some of what he was alluding to. You heard in that news clip that who they expected to really benefit from this was like the local bigger industries, mainly the hotel industry and the stadium, so forth and so on. What you have to consider is that when there is an influx of tourism, there's also an influx in traffic. You're slowing down traffic. There's kind of a bottleneck effect that is happening in the main areas around the stadium to get to the stadium and to get to the strips where the hotels are, right? So what happens is a lot of local people who know where the local businesses and the smaller restaurants and the smaller local shops are or whatever, they can't even get to where they normally would be because of so much extra traffic in the city. Also, people are trying to avoid paying parking for the hotel and for the stadium and for this and that. So what they end up doing is cluttering up like some of the parking lots for smaller businesses and walking here and there to avoid paying even more money outside of the festival that they actually came to see. So whereas a lot of places might look like they're full, really what this is stolen parking, which is once again preventing local people or real patrons from coming in and giving money to that business. There is some validity to what Hurricane Chris was saying. And ultimately, the Deep South, just like I'm pretty sure to some extent everywhere, it's a good old boy system. So the palms that got greased, let's just say they didn't look like Chris and 50. Now, having said that, ultimately, really you just got to take your hats off to 50 Cent because he did one heck of a job. If for nothing else, you can see the amount of fun that the locals had and that all of the people who came into the city just for that event. And the police force and everybody, the city officials are really raving about the fact that he did this and it was crime free and all of that. Business is business, and 50 Cent was handling business out here. And plus the other positive effects like that Fit Park and all of that. I mean, it was so many positives that it's really hard to listen to Hurricane Chris pointing out some of the few negatives. Plus, all in all, when there's that many extra people in a city, the expectation is for the trickle down to the local smaller businesses just off of the law of numbers. It does make me wonder, though, how did 50 pull this off in 90 days, but his former arch nemesis Ja Rule with that Fire Festival, they couldn't pull this off? I'm just playing. But listen, ultimately, shout out to 50 for getting it right this time. And if you appreciate this commentary, please like, share, and subscribe. Sometimes it is within our control who we shine a light on and who we bring to the forefront. So you